Hey guys, it's Ashley, and in today's video I'm going to be talking about the book characters that I want to avenge. Whether these characters were wrongfully killed or were normally killed but I didn't like that they were killed. These are all of the book characters whose deaths in books have made me really just sad and cry and sob, and I want to avenge them. I want to bring them back, and I think it's time that I just bring those characters to light here today and now. So this video idea was inspired by the newly released The Last Voyage of Pope Life by Ali Condi. This video is paid promotion by Penguin Teen, so thank you so much Penguin Teen for sponsoring this video and for allowing me to keep doing what I'm doing. This book is all about revenge and getting revenge for the people who have wronged you. So we follow a 17-year-old girl named Pope Life who is the captain of the Outpost's last mining ship, and she wants nothing more than revenge. She doesn't care about the gold that they're mining, she doesn't care about anything that they're doing, she wants revenge. She wants revenge on the river raiders who annihilated her and took everything that she loved 2 years ago. She will stop at nothing to get that. And so while she is on this ship going after what she wants, she's come to kind of realize that maybe not all in her crew are trustworthy, and that some may even be betraying her in a YA book. Who would have known? And so Poe has to figure out how to come to terms with what is happening here and what she wants in the future and what she wants for herself. This story has little blurbs on the back from Saba Tahir and Renee Adier, and I really love this cover, to be honest with you. Like, I just, for some reason, I love how minimal it is. So this book comes out on March 26th, which means yesterday, which means it should already be out. I will have a link in the description below where you can pick it up if you are interested. I'm really excited to jump into this book and learn more about what it is all about, especially because some of the story that I am writing myself has to do with revenge. So I'm eager to see how it's handled in this book. Penguin Teen also sent me a second copy of this book to give away to one of you guys, so if you'd like to learn more about how to win, head into the description down below where you can check out the Rafflecopter link and enter there. So without further ado, here are the book characters that I want to avenge. Real quick, these are obviously massive spoilers for the books that I'm going to be talking about, so if I hold up a book and I say the book's name and you haven't read the book, I would suggest muting it because I'm about to spoil something that happens in it that you probably don't want to know about. If you don't care about that, totally fine. If you do, just know that I have warned you right here and now. So let's get started. So the first two characters that I really was not happy with their deaths, and I really want to get back at the people who killed them, happen in Harry Potter, which I mean, I think was kind of self-explanatory that this series was going to be on this list because there's so many deaths in it, and I'm sorry if you haven't read it and you didn't know that yet, but there are so many deaths, let me tell you. The first death that I want to talk about is also kind of self-explanatory if you know me, and it comes up in the Order of the Phoenix. And the death that I'm talking about is none other than Sirius Black. If you've been watching my videos and you didn't think this character was gonna pop up in this video, where have you been? For those of you who don't know, Sirius has been one of my all-time favorite characters since I read this series for the first time, and I don't know why. I genuinely don't understand why I love him so much. I don't know if it was the way he was portrayed in the movies. I don't know if it was just his personality and his attitude in the books. I think I was always in love with the idea of Harry having that normal kind of life, that normal kind of going home to somebody who loves him and who cares for him and who's like a father figure to him. And so that's why I love Sirius so much, because he had that potential for him. But obviously, he wouldn't be in this video if he didn't die in this book, and I really hated Bellatrix for doing that. I'm pretty sure it was Bellatrix. If I'm wrong, please correct me, because I just recently reread this book and I've already forgotten. But Sirius is definitely number one on this list. So the next character whose death comes up in Harry Potter I'm going to be talking about is from the Deathly Hallows. So if you haven't read it, please mute, and that is Dobby. Dobby is the other book character in all of Harry Potter that I cried when he died. Dobby was just so cute. He was so innocent. He was, indentured to the Malfoys, and they hated him, and so he'd always lived this horrible life. And then he had such hope in all the books. He started helping Harry. He was taking all the hats so that Hermione wouldn't feel bad. It was just, I love him so much. And when he died in this book, I seriously bawled my eyes out. Dobby and Sirius, for some odd reason, just have this place in my heart, and I will forever and always want to avenge them and bring them back to life. So next up is a character who died at the end of City of Heavenly Fire by Cassandra Clare, and that character is, mute now if you haven't read this yet, Raphael. I was so sad when Raphael died in this book because we first met him in the very first book and he kept popping up throughout all of them, and he just somehow wedged his way into my heart, and I don't even know when it happened. Personally, when I first read this book, I don't think that I felt as sad about his death as I do now looking back on it, because a lot of the short stories that I've read throughout Cassandra Clare's little like anthologies that she puts out in between series have had to do with Raphael, especially in the Ghost of the Shadow Market. You learn a little bit more about him, and in I don't know if it was Tales from the Shadowhunter Academy or if it was, I think it was the Bane Chronicles, you learn more about him. And so I think learning a little bit more of his backstory and things that we hadn't known about him previous to this whole series really makes me look back on him fondly and makes me want to avenge his death. I don't know, I know he did some bad stuff. I know he, you know, wasn't always the nicest guy, but I feel like looking back on it, I would go out of my way to avenge him. I really would. Again, to be honest with you, it's been quite a while since I've read this book, so I don't remember the exact details, but I remember where he was when he died and who he was with. I just like, Raphael, my boy. So this is another character from Cassandra Clare's books, and this person dies in Lord of Shadows, so if you haven't read this, go ahead and mute. But that person is pretty self-explanatory if you've read this book, Livy. Livy's death came as such a shock to me at the end of this book. I was devastated and I could not believe what had just happened, and my first thought when she died was what is going to happen to Ty, because they are so close, and just if you've read this series, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I have not read Queen of Air and Darkness yet, so please do not tell me any spoilers if I'm saying this and something happens in that book and I don't know. But don't tell me anything that happens in that book. All I'm saying is that if I could go back to that point in time and avenge Livy and stop Annabelle from killing her with the mortal sword, I sure as hell would. And I would have no second thoughts about it either. I don't know why you would have second thoughts about avenging Livy. I just know that I wouldn't have any. Next up is a character who dies in the Illuminae files in the very last book. So if you haven't read the full series yet, mute this now. But that character is Aiden. Now I know, before I start going into my explanation, I know that he doesn't truly 100% die. He's an AI computer system, he's an artificial intelligence, and I'm pretty sure they take like a tiny little like portion of him in like a little like something or other, some kind of a handheld something, after everything happens and like the epilogue and whatnot. I'm pretty sure. I'm like 88% sure. I really need to reread all of these books. Oh my god. But if you've seen any of my book talks, especially my Illuminae book talk, you'll know that I have cried for Aiden before. Aiden is this artificial intelligence computer system, and yet I have cried when I thought he was going to die. I don't understand how J. Kristoff and Amy Kaufman can make a character who is not a true character, but make him into a character. So strange to me, but so cool, and I absolutely loved every second of it. Hell yeah, if I could go back and stop literally everything from happening that happens, I would. Not only because of all of the millions of lives that were lost, probably, but to save Aiden. You know, in the beginning of the series, he doesn't really deserve anything, but at the end, I think he deserves to not die, or to not almost die. To not 88% sure of dying that he dies. He doesn't deserve it. That's what I'm trying to say. This video is making me realize that there are a lot of people who die in YA books, and I don't appreciate it. So the next character's death that I'm going to be talking about comes up in the Crooked Kingdom, second book in the Six of Crows duology. So if you haven't read this yet, go ahead and mute. But that character is Matthias Helvar. Now, I recently read this book for the first time, so I have this pretty much clear in my mind. But if I could go back to the moment, or not even go back, but just if I could go and find that stupid kid who killed Matthias, I would 100% stop him. And I understand that the whole like, oh, you know, the repercussions of teaching your children like these bad things, and these children are gonna do bad things to protect the bad things that they're taught, and blah blah blah. Like, I understand that it's supposed to be, you know, representing and showing what happens when a society, you know, thinks one way of somebody and they take extreme actions and blah blah blah. But he was a child. I'm just so mad at that. I'm so mad that a child killed Matthias. Throughout this entire series, he seems like this indestructible Fjerdan, and he's killed by a child. I just want to go up to that kid and just slap him across the face and make him cry all the way back to Fjerda. That took it way too far, son. He did nothing to you personally. At least I don't remember. Maybe he did. Now I'm second guessing myself. And the final character's death that I would love to avenge if I had the chance comes up in the Percy Jackson series. So if you haven't read through the entire end of it, because I don't remember when this character dies, please mute this. But that character is Charles. It's been quite a while since I've read this book, so I don't remember what his last name was. Was it like Beauregard was Selena's name, so was his like Buttdorf? I could be mistaken. It's been quite a while since I've read these, obviously. But anyways, I would love to avenge him. From what I remember, he was just this really nice guy who was willing to do the right thing for the right reasons, and Percy looked up to him from time to time. And for those like simple reasons, if I could go back and avenge him and kill the people who killed him, or not even, I guess, kill the people who killed him. Well, yeah, I guess that's what getting revenge means. When somebody's killed somebody else, it means killing that person. Yeah, I would do it. And now that I'm thinking about this series, wow, there's a lot of dust in the air from me pulling this off of my shelf, holy crap. And because now I'm thinking about the Percy Jackson series as a whole, I'm going to tack on a character at the end of this that comes up in the Titan's Curse, and that character is Zoe Nightshade. Zoe was a hunter of Artemis. She, I believe, kind of taught Talia that, you know, she could have this life, like, that these people exist. And I don't know, I just remember her being a real like badass. I think that it's hard to be a bad character when you're on Percy's side in these books because they're so young and he's so adorable. And like, how can you be bad? Like, I don't get it. Basically anybody on the good side who dies in these books, I'd love to avenge because none of them deserved what they got. I would like to be there for them, if not to avenge them, then to prove to them how much they mean to me in this series as a whole. So that is my whole list for characters that I would want to avenge. I'm sure I have more that I just haven't said because I hadn't thought of them at this point in time, and I'm sure they're gonna come back to me after this video is done and over with, but that's fine. These are the people that are on my list currently, the people that came to my head immediately. Let me know if you agree with me that you would avenge any of these people, and I don't want to spoil anybody for potential books down below, so I'm not going to ask you to name the person that you would avenge if you had the chance. So I don't really know what to ask. I don't know. Just leave me something down below, I guess. Thank you once again to Penguin Teen for sponsoring this video, and remember you can pick up The Last Voyage of Poe Blythe in the description down below. It is in stores now. And remember to check out the description for that giveaway link to Rafflecopter if you're interested in getting your own copy. So guys, other than that, that is going to be it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you later. Goodbye!